Okay, so like, I haven't forgotten this, but I'm going to move on to something else. So like this Bauhaus on the Roof, Metropolitan Museum of Art, before September the 11th, 2001, we also had Mies in Berlin at MoMA, and we had Mies in America at the Old Whitney. But this Metropolitan Museum of Art, Bauhaus on the Roof, as I said, on this wall, and then there's a door here, here, the third one from the corner, it was Fat Albert. Profile, big afro. But this is Bauhaus, way before Fat Albert. Now, door, left. That negative took over 13 years to develop. So there's like a conference at Columbia University, and I will go to the microphone and I will ask my question. And the dais, they laugh. Then they got the whole audience to laugh. The question was, how was the Bauhaus archive maintained and brought to the United States of America? Why is that so funny? Why, if you had answered the question or said, what prompts you? Well, you know what prompts me, because this is like Mies. Mies has taken over New York City. And if it's not Mies, it's the Bauhaus. What prompts me? Well, you didn't ask anyway. And I gave whoever else the microphone and I went back to my seat. So how was the negative saved to make the picture? Well, here's the problem. Like, what makes this Columbia University? I'm sorry, why do you think you're important? Because Dwight Eisenhower was your president for a little while? Or Milton Eisenhower? I don't know. Not, he wasn't president of... What prompts you to do that to somebody? Here I was like, wow, this looks like a pretty nice place. They're telling you where you can eat, similar to the Old Whitney, like a little sheet of paper. You want my dinero? So, okay, you think you're important. Like, what would make you so important? Because if you were really important, I know you would not be there. There was the supercomputer San Diego project. Why aren't you there? Really, if you were important people, you'd be like at NASA. You would be the aeronautics. You would be like riot prevention, slum clearance. You're not that smart. Unless you're just keeping secrets. That's funny. So this Columbia University co-authorship with the cipher people of the social science record. 6 pages, people. What's the problem? I used the word paisan. So now let's move on. Oh, and I know that George magazine, it wound you up even more. I'm sure it did. Poor boy. He just couldn't say my grandfather was Hollywood. Oh, I know. And your mother. Don't become an actor. Why? It was very good for your family, wasn't it? The talkie. Okay, I'm leaving them alone because, like I said, and I don't care about Goldie, Connie, but Connie did say, let's see what's coming down the pike. Yeah, I don't care about her marrying Maury, such a different person than herself. Maybe he is the he is the she wishes to be. I don't know. So, enough about Goldie laughing, enough about Connie, enough about Gail, enough about Larry David, and anybody else who graduated from there before me. Because I think I really am the only one. My God, people have died below my feet. I sit there in the back row of Francis Scott Key. The door is open. They've mowed the lawn. The grass smells so good. And literally on the bottom of my sneakers, there's dead bones. He knows that. And how do I resolve this matter in my mind? An ice cream sandwich, coffee from a machine. But anyway, I'm done with you people for now. Truly I am. Because I'm moving on to this New York. That's where we are today. And I can be there because I was born there. You're going to tell me, I know, there was no snow. You really had to do that? There was no blizzard on March the 16th of 2007. I did not return that Avis car, look down that street, and you're shoveling, plowing for the St. Patrick's Day parade. That's on you, you understand? Really, that is on you. And I'm not going to let go. Why should I? As far as I'm concerned, I'm just as much a New Yorker, of which I'm not, because in Greenwich Village, you're not from New York. Thank you very much. My coffee is coffee. Isn't that how everybody says it? It doesn't matter. So here's the deal now. All right? This Stokely Carmichael, he came from the Bronx High School of Science. You know what I'm right now? I'm letting go of what Spiro Agnew taught people on the eastern shore of Maryland via the intelligence of my roommate, number 2. I have lots of roommates. Because she can't be that dumb. Spiro Agnew educated her. What did the Bronx High School of Science teach Stokely Carmichael? And then after Stokely left and graduated and caused this commotion, how does the Bronx High School of Science teach the civil rights movement and Maryland in particular? Come on, Columbia. Do you want to laugh at my question? Go ahead. Do it again. Did anybody write a paper? You should. There should be at least 25. Why not? Well, I'm going to find out. Trust me. I'm never letting go of this. Never. Never in a million years. Now let's move on from Stokely and the Bronx High School of Science. I got lost up there. You had some solar panels. I was lost. Oh, it was horrible. But I found you. 3 cousins graduated from your school. 3 boys. And she grew up in North Tarrytown. And she was valedictorian of her class. Oh, please, because from upstate New York, they sent me this digitized, I'm looking for the Right to Write program. You know, it gives me the right to write as a 10-year-old. Title IV, Cecilia Kingston. Oh, I brought the Scooter magazine to the Department of Education on Maryland Avenue when I had to go there for the Internet Higher Education laws. You know, when you first created it. Oh, I'm all over the place because of you people. You've denied me transfer coordinators, disabled, what was your, Noel Atwell, disability. Oh, for that, literally, that's a big HIPAA violation. I faxed you an MRI. And I said at the hearing, where is Noel Atwell? I know. And then the side parlor, you understand? Wow, those people in New York, they don't even understand the extent. No, I think you all understood the extent. Madam Zelkine's a graduate of NYU Law School. She ain't stupid. I held my own, and I drove back in a blizzard in one piece, said everything I needed to say, and trust me. You would have sent a letter and said who reviewed it. The CD. Well, now I'm moving away from Stokely Carmichael, and I'm very interested in KARANGA. KARANGA. He's still alive, little Mr. KARANGA. Just as easily as I got in touch with FCC Nick Johnson. What's up with KARANGA? There should be at least 25 papers on KARANGA of Maryland, the nemesis of Huey Newton in California. So KARANGA, whatever is his real name, I don't care. he will go to California. But do you know what KARANGA does? KARANGA creates KWANZA. And in 1974 or 5, I will go on a school trip for KWANZA. Now, don't you think that KARANGA, since he just created KWANZA, do you really think he would send disciples to explain the fruit of the days? Yeah, I think I have a pretty good chance of picking up a spare. But you know what? You've crippled me, giving me 2 kinds of carpal tunnel and something else. I just, for bowling for dollars, if anybody remembers WORTV or whatever other station, you have to have finesse. You will not make it to TV unless you just drop the ball and let it roll. But I'm going to pick up that spare because that KARANGA. And then if KARANGA created the black psychology, because there is in the footnote a KARANGA, oh, that would be too much. Lots going on. Did Columbia University write on that yet, ladies? Well, here, I don't have a problem with what direction this is taken, but I believe that you should have, like, the topics that I'm bringing up. That should be your New York television. But more importantly, considering, similar to the Black Panthers, there are only about 5 primary sources between SEALE, Newton, and the federal government investigation into the Black Panther Party. And oh, come on now. Who didn't want a piece of this? The Republican, his daughter grew up to be, what's her name? The teacher who slept with the Spanish boy and had the baby. That's his daughter. So please, you're all so whacked. Nobody wanted a piece of that either, huh? When they brought it up, gun barrel, her father. Now this KARANGA, KARANGA. So there are limited primary sources with the Black Panther Party. And then my Clash of Civilizations and his affiliation with VOK and his chapter on identity and Huey Newton's desire for identity, of which that is a question from a student on Uncommon Ground. We'll get to identity another day. Chocolate. Oh, come on, I'm catching up on Knots Landing. I mean, really, what was up against Knots Landing when it first... I wasn't watching Knots Landing. And now that I think about it, I really only watched Knots Landing in September of 84, 85, and 86. 87, I'm working 2 jobs, the Bank of New York and Grand Union in New York, to earn enough money for the... Oh, no, that would be 89. No, must have been 86. 86, I'm working the 2 jobs at the Bank of New York and the Bank of America. Oh, no, the Bank of New York and Grand Union to earn enough money for the apartment. Yeah, the truth of the matter is, so much Knots Landing. Like Valine, she wrote this book, but I don't think she graduated from the college that she was going to, but she did this nifty little thing. Oh, CBS Lormar, so funny. She had chocolate samplers. Why didn't you people? Oh my, no chocolate samplers in 84. I guess you needed Domino's. Yeah, well, so much going on. Like I said, I hope you ladies, you really should get yourself out there. What's the matter? You afraid? You should be. You really should be. Because you should, and doesn't everybody want to know? Oh, especially since you've all gone British and whatever other country. Don't you want to know which country or which university hospital? Who were the science projects for the abortion? Now, I'm not going to say who, but it had to be somebody I might have lived with. It's like, show me gizzards. Oh, I love gizzards. I never cook them. I value her. But gizzards, really, is that? So basically, yeah. Which country, perfected however you do an abortion? Because according to the Smithsonian, because I stepped into the exhibit, the National Zoo, okra is a natural abortive. So I think that, you should all just put the truth out there. How many women died because they signed a little sheet? I hope it's not like the cadavers of the Laurel and Hardy movies when they clonked the person to get his cadaver. Those English people, they never were right. Really now? Chucky's going to take me to court on that. I don't think so, Chucky. You aided in the creation of Hitler. You didn't stop him. You didn't say this science project's gone wrong. Did you stop the ethno-violence when you know your mother has a royal stamp? I know. You think wrong. I should have waited to be unwaitlisted for SUNY Albany. Now let me see, is there anything else I wanted to say for tonight? Emmanuel Sellers, he should have been a key word. KARANGA and KWANZA should have been a key word. The other guy should have been a key word. Schoenberg. Do you know, when they were renovating the Schoenberg, Charles Rangel's like a big grin on his face. But I don't talk to famous people. I didn't talk to Tony Randall either. Luciano Pavarotti? No. I don't think you're going to get out of it. No, not one bit. What was the thing I was going to say about the television? Oh, this one. Oh, my God. So, like this case of Gardner versus Louisiana, I don't mean to say anything, but let's take a look at Harry Connick Jr. I'm sorry, but his father was a judge in Louisiana. How did he go all across the country and all across the country and all across the country and then redoing all of these songs, changing the tempo, Sinatra, the duets, and then Harry and everyone? Those are Ella's songs. Ella's from Yonkers, New York. My neighbor. Mary J. Blige from Yonkers, New York. My neighbor. The girl that I was in class with that I didn't want to be in. Her goal was to work for the Mary J. Blige Foundation. Every little test, she'd be like, "You're going to knock it in the box, Sophia." Okay. I'm just saying, when Ella sang those songs to begin with, we didn't have any problems now, did we? You all changed the tempo. Oh, I have to shut up about that too? Why? I don't think so. Yeah, that Harry. But then, this with these names. So, like, who's going to blame who? That's the thing. Well, Bette Midler's not from New York, and I always thought she was, especially with her little highway project. Beautification. I said, wow, she really loves New York. She was probably born and bred in New York, and she just wants New York to be clean, clean, clean. No, she's from Hawaii. Well, like, why don't you start writing those papers on Stokely Carmichael, Bronx High School of Science curriculum, and then how the Bronx High School of Science presented the civil rights movement and Stokely Carmichael's role within the civil rights movement, and maybe even incorporate Lincoln University, where he wrote what he wrote on Black Power. And remember, I called Lincoln University and I said, hi. I had a hard time getting a degree in social work in Maryland. University of Maryland, Baltimore. I said, do you think I could come to your school for social work? You have a great night, ladies, and remember, somebody is going to be held responsible. You understand? Because you dropped the ball. That is 5 primary sources on the Black Panther Party. And more importantly, Carol Gilligan, 2 presented to the general public in the District of Columbia through the Maryland Book Exchange Women's Studies section. I do 5 things on payday. I get my hair cut. I go to University Boutique. I either pay for my jewelry that's on layaway. And I go to the Maryland Book Exchange Women's Studies section. And I buy my book. So, like Alice Collier, Stations of Solitude, The Unknown Woman. Something terrible happens to her in D.C. And you know where she flees to? Cape Cod. In conclusion, how did this happen, Sophia? How do these people hate everybody? Oh, these women? It's all about the Stones, not the Rolling Stones. Go ahead, Sophia. Carnelian. Agate. Hematite. Lapis. Chalcedony. $110. But don't wear it anymore. Do you know I almost lost it in the gym bathroom? It almost got flushed down the toilet. Oh no, those DC people, they never liked us out-of-state people. No, it's this. Or it's this. That is a lattice. And look at all those little stones in there. You will never get yourself out of this for what you started. But more importantly, and I leave it here because we're already up to 22 minutes. I'm a property owner at age 8, okay? Anybody that lived inside that house? Oh, and I'm not being evil. Any Indian that came from India on an education visa at the New York Medical College? I don't know how I got a string of bad luck with all of you Indians, including that boy in Macintosh's Government 231 Law and Society, and you named the group Anarchy in 1984 and a half. I don't know what anarchy is, but obviously you know that because you come from India. Professor McIntosh said, you are to write these together as 4. You divvied it up and I got stem cells. Oh, I know all about stem cells, don't I, from 1984. Madhu. Oh, Madhu. Madhu's parents are rich enough to be importing marble and putting a heliport in Potomac. Madhu will be my neighbor, my roommate, and not pay any money. If this was another time and place, Madhu, you are still very, very close to your laboratory at College Park, even though you and Scott are not roommates on Princeton Avenue. If you want this convenience to roll out of her bed and not take care of a condom that's floating in the toilet, if you believe that you didn't owe me money, you are sorely mistaken, you fucking little asshole. The rest of you, I don't even need to go into it. Do you understand? I return home where there was no Indian markets up the road to pay the taxes in Greenberg. There's 3 on one side and 2 on the other. I don't care what you're doing with your Bordegos, but Indiagos. For the extent of what has happened to me in life, and that only now do I have Indian doctors examining MRIs, only Indians. That's very fascinating to me, truly. Love you all as you love me. Bye-bye.